Hey everybody, Manal here with my week 8 post vertical sleeve gastrectomy update for all of you. That's my post gastric sleeve surgery that I had back on September 15th, 2016, 2 short months ago, out in Huntington Beach, California. Um, let's see, to get right into it, I started with my highest weight at 260 pounds. My surgery day weight was 254 pounds. Last week I was 229.6, I believe. And this week, or 229.8 maybe. And this week I was 227.8, which is a loss of 2 pounds for the last week, which funny, like when I first saw that number, for some reason I was so disappointed. But now when I think about it, that's 2 pounds. That's pretty good actually. So I don't know what I was bugging out about before. I think because the previous week I had only lost like zero point 0.6 pounds, so I was feeling a little disappointed, and I was hoping that I would show like a little bit of a higher loss this week. But 2 pounds is fantastic, so really can't complain. That means I'm down in total 32.2 pounds, and yes, the point 2 is important, as we all know. So things are moving along quite lovely. Um, this week, I had the opportunity to work out a lot more. I had heard through Britt Bratt's page and SJ's journey about the challenge for the month of November to walk 100 miles. And so I got really inspired by that, honestly. And so I got to the gym right away and I started doing, 3 miles a week. I'm sorry, 3 miles a day, which was surprisingly a lot harder than I thought it was, because I'm like, those girls are serious, because that is not easy. I mean, at least for me, because I've been kind of really out of shape for some time. But after a couple of days, I started getting some really bad pain in my right foot, and I think it's probably because I've been wearing the same sneakers for like 4 years. And I think that's a big no-no. Like, I think they say it's like a number of months or a number of miles, and I've like certainly exceeded at least the months portion of that. So anyway, I went to some place called Marathon Sports around here, and they actually, like, they ask you to take your shoes off and then they have you walk and they tell you what you're doing. And so it turns out that I was overpronating on my right foot, which was causing the pain. So I was like, sorry, I'm holding my hair. I was walking like this, like with putting my pressure to the inside. So it was causing a lot of pain. Anyway, so I kind of gave myself a couple of days for my feet to kind of feel better. And, but I will be walking again shortly. And I did get to go and meet with the trainer at my gym, which was pretty cool. We did the weights, which I'm always like so terrified of. It's just so intimidating for some reason. And plus, like, I think I would feel a little bulky, and so I felt like I would look clumsy using them. But like, obviously, in real life, who cares? Because you're working out and you're helping yourself. But person can get a little self-conscious. So I met with this trainer, and we did all like lower body and some core stuff, and it was actually really great. Like, the next day, I was so sore, but in a way that felt so satisfying, because in the moment you don't feel it so much, but then afterwards, I was like, oh yeah, so I felt accomplished. Um, yeah. So otherwise, food-wise, things are pretty good. I have to say, I almost feel like I'm eating back to normal, to some degree. Like, I'm still trying to incorporate as many softer foods as possible. From the beans to the scrambled eggs to those kind of like standard items. But I have been eating more and more plain things and mixed dishes. Like, I'm being a little bit more adventurous, dare I say. Like, I had some ground beef. I had like half of a hamburger patty, totally fine. I've had some more crunchy vegetables, totally fine. Like, more and more normal things I feel like I can order and I'm fine. I mean, I'm 2 months out, so I think that should be okay, and I've been feeling really good, so I hope it's okay. Last week I was telling you guys how I felt really guilty that I had been cheating a lot with Halloween candy and all of that. Um, this week was much better. I think I kind of like forgave myself a little bit. And I realized that, like, when I make things super forbidden, it makes it much harder for me to stop. So I kind of gave myself the allowance that if I was really craving something, I could have like a really measured like treat. So for example, like you know the little like miniature Hershey nuggets or something like that. Like I could have one or half of one to get it out of my system. Not every day, but like, and I feel okay with that. I feel okay with that. But otherwise, I'm doing pretty well. I think I've noticed that as I'm eating more normal things, my calorie intake is increasing a little bit. So I do want to be cautious of that. But I mean, this week I've been working out, so I didn't feel as guilty, I guess. Um, what else can I tell you guys? I went and got my hair did today, which I'm very excited about. I'm going to this conference that I go to every year, and I was really looking forward to hitting my 222 goal by this conference. And I didn't, so I was kind of a little bit bummed about that. But I wanted like there's people that I only see once a year, basically at this event. So I felt like I wanted to look nice. I mean, I feel good that I've lost some weight. It's not a huge loss compared to where I was last year, but it's enough that I feel good and I feel better. So I'm like, you know what, girl, you go do your hair and go. So I did that. But that's it, really. Nothing too special to report. Oh, I did want to share one thing. So my trainer, in the beginning, they do your assessment and they ask all these questions and like, is there anything significant you need to share, whatever. And I like legit completely forgot that I had had surgery. And I don't know if it's because I'm just like feeling so normal in life, but eventually when he was having me do some core exercises, I told him, I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, I did have surgery like 8 weeks ago. And so I know my core is a little bit weaker than usual because he wanted me to do some like tricky things and it was just really challenging for me. And so, and then he was like, oh, you have to tell me that. And then he's like, what did you do? And then I told him, I was like, I had a weight loss surgery. I had the gastric sleeve, which he didn't really know what that was. He's like, what do you have, the lap band, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I had the gastric sleeve. And like, I felt like he was a little judgy. Like, he didn't say anything overtly judgy, but like, I don't know. I was a little like, I'm like, hey, like, this is a journey for health. Like, rude. Like, I don't know. I was annoyed a little bit. And like, it just kind of made me think about the fact that, I know a lot of people, I've seen videos who choose not to tell anyone that they had the surgery, which I find so courageous. And like, they must have so much self-control because I could never do that because I really need encouragement from others. Like, that's just, a weakness or whatever it is. I really, I feed off of the energy of the people around me. So, now and more, I'm kind of put into situations where like it will come up or it will be a relevant thing for me to mention. And I'm like really debating about who to tell and who not to tell. Not that I owe anyone to tell them, but it is something that comes up from time to time these days. And I think seeing the trainer's reaction made me realize that some people are a little judgy about it. So I don't know. I think I'll probably still keep it on the down low for now. I mean, it's really no one's business ultimately. I remember seeing a video by, I forgot, is it Clusie, who has like, a huge following for VSG patients. And she had said something like that and about how having the sleeve makes you a jerk. Sometimes like if you are invited to somebody's house and you don't eat and they're like, oh, why aren't you eating, whatever, and it's like, oh, you didn't like your food, blah 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 blah, and you don't always feel like giving everyone the spiel about like why you had or why you didn't have surgery. And I really identified with that because it's so personal. Like, you don't always want to necessarily share that. So yeah, so every day you're figuring out something a little different, but otherwise things are good, can't complain. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day wherever you are, and hopefully I'll catch up with you guys next week. Farewell.